All right, hello and welcome everybody. Now we are winding down the Great Poker Chip Adventure. People are already excited about what they're seeing here. And we're running down to some of the last few stock chipsets I want to review. I understand there are a lot of chipsets out there, but lots of them are very similar. They have brother or sister sets. I'm just not going to review all of them. So for example, the Clay Smith Metal Slug ABS chips, I'm not going to review every single one of those, just the two major color combinations they have, and the rest is just a little design cue differences here and there. So you choose which one you like best, right? So I'm just trying to arm my viewers with as much information as possible to empower you to make your own purchase decision, right? I can't, review every single chip in the world, although I would love to. And like I said, you can take that information and figure out for yourself exactly what you want to get. I'm not going to decide for you. Buy some sample sets and make your choice. Speaking of which, I have great viewers who are very intelligent, and I love the feedback and input I get. I was wrong, as usual. People are like, well, you're going to have to keep making videos because you're wrong so often. You have to correct yourself all the time. Well, in this case, that's true. I thought I had the 2818s or something. The phony, nope, I have the 2800s. Love them. Now, the reason why that's relevant is because Jamaica has announced that they are discontinuing their consumer line of plastic playing cards. Sad. So those are no longer, you see, I just barely made my favorite face card video, and this one's gone already. It's just, all right, well, it's no longer a stock available face card. It was like a week after I made that video. Okay, so the Fonier, they're made in Spain. They're fine. They're awfully similar to the made in Spain Duraflex bicycle cards. Not exactly the same. I like the texture on these a lot more than the bicycles. But either way, we are going to play a quick hand here. I'm looking for my cut card. Here it is over here. See if I can reach past everything. All right, there we go. And we're going to play a quick hand here. So grab two cards off your deck at home. See what we can do here. Let's throw it on there. All right, burn a card. We're playing Texas Hold'em. No prizes. Sorry, just, for fun here. Tell us what you have in the comments if it's interesting. And with a flop like that, it won't be interesting. Everybody out there who's 3-bet with, 7 deuce offsuit is doing pretty well. Oh, there we go. That's it. Game over. Game over. Tell us what you have in the comment. In the comments, somebody's going to claim straight flush. Yeah. After you've drawn 26 cards off of your deck. So the Fournier, I have no idea how to say it. Fournier. I'm just going to do that. There you go. This deck right here is a lovely plastic deck. This is something that I'm sure will replace the Jamaicas. These were like next on the list. So easily going to move up. Now, the cards in question here were, speaking of how great my viewers are, these were recommended to me as a stock poker chip set. And sure enough, they were a stock poker chip set. You can even buy samples. This was at the making of this video, February 2017. This was like $13 at classicpokerchips.com. Looking at their stock designs, this is the Rounders design. And it's not exactly the same as the film used ones, but man, they look great. Have a look at that. I'll get my ugly knobby fingers out of the way. You can see the scroll pattern stamped into the chip around the edges. These have nice sharp corners, so they stand on end. They have brass as the weight material in there, so you can see some shiny sections there on the brass material. These chips will replace the Keywest poker chips. I have those right here. So if you remember my favorite poker chips at the beginning of 2017, I mentioned Keywest. Keywest have a lovely Caribbean kind of Floridian, Gulf of Mexico, very tropical kind of design here. And they have some interesting colors. And so for that Fantasy Casino, they're lovely, but I would think I'd prefer the Rounders over the Keywest. And so those, you see, in this one video, my favorite cards have already changed, and my favorite poker chips, stock poker chips, has already changed. It's been less than a month. That's just the nature of, do you see how hard it is to maintain like a favorites list? Because every time I find out something new. Anyway, these were recommended to me by a viewer. So go to Classic Poker Chips, have a look. But it gets even better than this. Are you kidding me? They give you other options. This is like the square circle stamp pattern. I forget what they're called. I'm not even sure if it's called a scroll. It's just what it kind of looks like to me. So look at this. They have 2 different options here for stamping on the chip. Lovely, lovely square edges. Now we're going to actually dive into a review of these because these are a stock poker chip and I think you should consider them. They are expensive. More expensive than Paulson's were when they were selling consumer grade chips. So you need to, get a sample set if you're interested. Decide for yourself what you're willing to pay for something like this. But I would totally support Classic Poker Chips. It's just one of my favorite companies, and you'll probably see, I don't know when, I would say you'll definitely see at some point in the future, I can't promise you when, a set of Classic Poker Chips coming through, whether it's a stock design or a custom design, but I suspect both. So, for starters, before we dive into the review, are you familiar with the movie Rounders? Stars Matt Damon, Malkovich, is that the other person in there, plays an awesome Russian. One of my favorite quotes, I don't want to ruin plots or anything, but one of my favorite quotes, and one of the few things I remembered, was where he says the Russian in his Russian accent in a funny way. He's like, give him his money. And the way he says money made me laugh so hard. It was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. Anyway, I thought it was just a pretty good film. It wasn't life-changing or anything, but the chip's definitely recognizable. And again, I don't want to spoil anything, and it leads to all sorts of discussions about what is high society. And wow, I don't even want to dive into that discussion right now. So, looking at these, what are your first thoughts? We're going to talk about quality control as usual. I'm actually going to give you my likability scale on these, because I think that's important as well. So these are a high-end chip. Their quality control is better than ABS chips, than China clays. These have just superior quality, okay? So these are above average when it comes to quality control. I'll throw up some measurements I have taken from these 2 little sample sets. They're excellent. I mean, they're above average, good. However, they are more than Paulson's, but they're not quite to Paulson levels when it comes to consistency of thickness across all manufacturer. It's just how it is. And flatness isn't, because the inlays aren't recessed, are more likely to be an issue, even though with these they are not. The Keywest set I had did have some of that. So just be aware of that. It's definitely above average. Not perfect. They're poker chips. Come on. You want them, you need hundreds of them. So they're not going to be Rolex watch quality on every single chip. Now, should I even raise the bar? Like Patek Philippe, right? A. Longanzona. There's always going to be somebody who's going to, try to raise that bar. So when we're after quality control, we talk about design. Now, design, there's nothing unique about these. They're just designed to look like a Rounders chip. The bear, which is symbolic for the movie. Right, so as far as design goes, it's a really basic radial design with a bear and a denomination. In this case, simple is better. You were not losing anything with the simplicity, because I think one of the big points of it is to reflect on the movie. So take that for what it's worth, and let me spread these back out again, just in different ways so you can see them. So the design, I'm not going to say is above average. I can't say that. It's a very simple design. If there's some emotional attachment you have there, you can rate it a lot higher in your scale, but when you look at the fundamentals of the design here, it's very average. Closely followed by materials. Now, the materials, I really like these materials, okay? These chips, I'm on Poker Chip Forum. You can see the description below, go visit it. You can go to my website, you can see my account. I read all the time that these are some of the best chips to oil to make them look pretty. If you're interested in that, take that for what it's worth. The materials do lend themselves to maintenance. So, if you want a poker chip set that you can be involved with, these are a great option. Same with Paulson. So, there's another added layer or benefit if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But the materials themselves feel really good. The square edges make them a little difficult to shuffle if they're not broken in, but it's, not the end of the world. They're easy to shuffle. You can do all sorts of interesting tricks with them because I totally lost one. It just totally fell down onto the floor. I'm gonna go pick it up. But they do have a nice textured feel to them, okay? So they're not slick like a plastic chip. They have that nice chalky, I don't want to say clay feel. Clay is really fine, like smooth, like super smooth. If you're being pedantic, you'd say like a loam type of feel to it, right? But they have a great feel to them. They're kind of, I wouldn't say like really coarse, but they definitely have some texture so you can get a good grip on them. They feel amazing being shuffled together. They have this nice texture to it. I always want to call it checkering, but it's not checkering. It's like a crosshatch pattern. I forget exactly what term I would use. But the inlays are actually inlaid. They're set in there. I mean, the materials are, compared to like a China clay with like a sticker label, these are superior to that. So the materials, again, above average. So, durability, they wear out a little bit faster than some of the plastic chips, than ABS chips. They might be a little bit more brittle. Yes, I give you all of that, okay? The material isn't like an ABS metal slug insert chip that are just, nuke proof. These have no metal insert. They have some brass, flakes in here for weight, but they're, as far as durability goes, they're slightly below average. That's just how it is, okay? And then we talk about costs, okay? I'm going to dive down here and grab my missing chip, the chip that I dropped on the floor. Coming back to price, the price of these, I think, will be the limiting factor for a lot of people. Some people won't care. They'll be like, oh, sweet, rounders. They'll look at it and be like, that's in my price range. Get a sample set. If you like it, buy a set. I would encourage you to. So you can even see the description below. I'll put a link in the description. What animal is your animal, by the way? If you were to make a poker chip for you, what would you put on there? I'm trying to think about what I would put for myself. I like to eat. Maybe a pig. Peppa Pig. Daddy Pig. Man, maybe it's just I've been watching my boys' cartoons for way too long. I've been watching those way too long. Okay, so let's talk about my likability scale. So you can see, the information I gather there, quality control, design, materials, durability. It comes out, maybe slightly above average. We do have the, durability issues. But I would even say, that might be a good thing because when you break in a set of these, they feel really good. The classic poker chip designs. Same with Paulson. You break in Paulsons and they feel really good. Sure, they're not going to have these square edges, but, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But it does come back to durability. People say, oh, well, they'll still last a lifetime. Yeah, I understand that, but I'm talking about the durability of the materials. So, my likability is definitely in my top 10. So that's 4 stars. 10 out of 10. I need to come up with a rating system, but these are definitely one of my favorite sets I've ever laid eyes on and handled. The way they feel great. They feel great to shuffle. The edges feel great. They don't feel slick. There's no flashing. There's nothing to distract from the poker chip being a wonderful poker chip. The design is pleasant. It brings back, imagery and from that movie Rounders. Even without that movie Rounders, you throw that movie out, these are still a great, simple design. There are dollar signs here, which goes with the movie. So these work in an international setting for international consumers because, hey, it's the Rounder set. But if you're looking for a good set of poker chips, I highly recommend these. If you're looking for just a interesting sample set to play with, I would also just say go get some of these because these are awesome, even just for movie memorabilia ideas. Now remember, I need to make this clear. These are not exactly the same as the movie poker chip. Now, this is from my memory. You'd have to do your own research, but I seem to remember the movie poker chips having more of a three-dimensional woven braided pattern around the edges, not just these stamps. It was more three-dimensional and it looked like it was braided. A braided material. Not like actually literally braided, but just stamped to look like it was a braided. Not a braided like sanded, but braided like you braid Rapunzel's hair. Does that make any sense? I don't know if that makes any sense. So they're not perfect replica. They're not like identical replicas, but you know, they have that same feel and presence. Anyway, the rounder set, we're going to do a quick sound test here so you can hear the difference between these and a couple of others. We're not going to go crazy today. We have some real casino chips. We have some hybrid ceramics. We have some real ceramics. We have some China clays, kind of an alternative set of China clays. Apache Poker Chips has these back in stock at the making of this video. So if you need to stock up or get some more, you can do that. Yeah, let's just do these today. Okay, casino chips, actual Paulson casino chips compared to the classic poker chips. Rounder set. Hybrid. Labels in a ceramic. And this is China clay. Again, these China clays have rounded edges. Sometimes you can get them to stand on end, but they're just not as square, clear edges as the classic poker chips. And finally, ceramics. They do sound kind of similar, even though these are not a ceramic material. Anyway, the rounder set at Classic Poker Chips. Definitely go check them out. Tell me what you think in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and please visit us at Patreon and support the channel. Thank you so much. My name is John Hobby.